Hello, I am Jay from the band IATT, and this is the Stygian Archive. Today we have a special guest with us, Martin Molokh from the band Belphegor and Molokh. How's it going, Martin?
Nice to meet you, my friend. Thanks for having me. And yeah,
Awesome. All right, Martin. So we're going to jump right into this. Take us back to the beginning. What first sparked your interest in music?
my first part or the first band.
What sparked your interest? Like what made you, what was your journey getting into music, learning how to play guitar and things like that?
My journey was like quite simple. I guess like most of people start getting a musician. It's like I was listening to bands. I enjoyed it. I wanted to do the same kind of stuff. Listen to them. Started learning guitar, private lessons, then later university, and got the right contacts, and so I came into the business. So I'm like from the beginning, I was just a fan, like everyone, I guess.
Okay. And like at what age did you pick up guitar?
Sorry.
What age did you pick up guitar?
I think I was 13, 14, around, like still puberty.
Mhm. Yeah.
14, I think it was. Yeah.
Okay. And what bands were you into at that moment? Were you into metal right away, or was it like hard rock,
Um,
anything like that?
I, mm, uh, I I get this question asked many times, and actually, the thing that moved me the most and inspired me the most was Mr. Big, actually.
Mr. Big. Oh,
Mr.
Paul
Big,
Gilbert.
yeah. Paul
Okay.
Gilbert, my guitar hero. He's my god on the guitar, and I was like teenager when I listened to that stuff, and back then, but I still didn't know how music works. I was like, there is something. This is amazing, and till today. But this was actually, I think, the spark that yeah lighted my musical fire somehow.
Yeah, man, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, Mr. Big, like they had Billy Sheehan on bass. They
Yeah,
were basically a super group. And
absolutely.
I remember they used to use tools to play their
Yeah,
guitar. So like on stage you
yeah,
would
yeah.
see them with like, like different kinds of tools, and like that would help them tremolo pick and things like that. So I can only imagine as like a 8-year-old or 13-year-old seeing something like that, you're like, man, I want to do that. But that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Mr. Big
I
was
think
a
today they have this kind of like unbeatable like soul and intention in the music. And as I said before, Paul Gilbert, he's just like awesome. And I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Paul Gilbert. No, I don't know any guitarist who doesn't like Paul Gilbert. You know, he's amazing.
yeah, he's a guitar god,
Yeah.
definitely. I feel like he's severely underrated too. Um
Well, I cannot understand, but yeah, you're right.
yeah. So every musician has a defining moment. You said that Mr. Big was a big influence for you. But what drove you to the extreme metal path? Like
Um,
what influence, what band?
clear answer. It was Morbid Angel.
Morbid Angel?
It was like I was when I was yeah in my a little later after my teenage years. I was watching a lot of like good old MTV. You know,
Yeah.
when they had the Headbangers Ball and stuff, and then came this like Into the Pit, I think was the thing after,
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
all of a sudden I got introduced to something that is actually more, that has more, I don't know, darkness, more. It was new to me, and I thought, oh my god! I mean, this is actually what uh, attracts my attention even more than being a good guitarist, being atmospheric and creating something and like dark because life's not happy anyway and all of that kind of. So it was definitely Morbid Angel, Praise Star Sick. When I heard this song the first time, I was like, oh, this is what I need to do. Seriously.
Yeah. So before joining Belphegor Live, um, as a kid or growing up, what did that band represent? Like, were you a fan of them beforehand? Were they big in Austria beforehand? Did you know the band?
I don't know how well you know the scene in Austria, but it's like Austria has a few like exports in the extreme metal scene, and
Okay.
I would say the biggest ones always was Belphegor and Punch and Stench,
Okay.
if you know them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when I was like still, yeah, playing underground bands and this and that, got to know some people, and I got to play with Martin Schierens from Punch and Stench in his side project that was or is called Hollenton.
Okay.
So, and this was like my first step into the like professional or let's say, yeah, international kind of scene. And then with the whole Hollenton thing got a little quiet, got on ice, and then Helmut from Belphegor searched the guitarist, and a friend of mine came and said, "Oh, I'm a huge fan of Belphegor, and Helmut is searching for a guitarist." I said, "Yeah, okay, well, why not contact him?" Because I knew him from a few festivals we played together,
Okay.
and yeah, that's how it happened, more or less. So no,
Okay.
I was sorry. I was like, to be honest, I knew Belphegor before, and I liked a lot of things. But uh, as soon as I entered the band, it became more like of a real thing, like.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to jump into Belphegor too quickly, and I want to give like your other project Molokh some shine. So before Belphegor, you had your own project Molokh. What inspired you to start that project, and what did you want to express through that music?
Also quite simple answer is like when I started playing guitar, and I felt like I want to do something. I like listening to bands. I like what I hear, and I felt the need to do something actively. And when I started with Molokh, it was like what I expect from what I would like to hear. So I started recording it, forming, getting some members and stuff. Recorded like one album and one EP. I never tried to get like a record deal or anything because this was only for myself. This Molokh is what represents my own taste, more or less.
Okay.
So and this is still today. Is this the case? So yeah. So I
Awesome.
just want.
So I was jamming the song Carthago, and I was talking to Mike, who put together the Stygian archive, and we had a question. Can you dive into the song Carthago, the meaning, the lyrics behind it?
Okay. The meaning. I mean, the whole thing about the name Moloch itself and the whole meaning about it is like back then I was searching for, okay, what is impressive and mighty. So somehow I dived into that story about the Carthaginians, or I don't know what it's called in English, Carthaga in German. And it was super impressive to me, like with the statue, with the bull's head, like they had their child sacrifices into it. This was so like, wow, this is mighty. And there's also so many comparisons to other kind of mythologies and this and that. So it was just impressive to me, and I thought, yeah, sounds cool, looks cool. It's mighty and it's dark and it's evil, and that's why I did it, named it, and later um, it became, how can I say, as I said before, the whole. I was never writing the lyrics. This was my vocalist back then. He's awesome in writing lyrics. We parted ways because of personal issues. Uh, but I cannot tell you exactly what each words in the lyrics mean, but it was always like related to this mythicism or to the mythology of this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right. So we're gonna jump into, you joining Belphegor. You started playing live guitar in Belphegor around what time? When did you
it was
first start?
2014
Okay.
was when I got in contact with Helmut, and I think it was January or February of 2015 when I first time entered the stage with him.
Okay. So if you can dig back, what was your first rehearsal like with the band? Did it
Horrible.
immediately click, or was there a period of adjustment?
Um, this is a this is a question. How can I explain that? If I take too long, then just stop me, okay?
No, you're okay. We have time.
The thing is, like when I entered first time the rehearsal room and started, there was even a pre-process before because you cannot just enter Belphegor. You have to record like it's like an audition process, you know. You have
Okay.
to record this and that song standing with no mistake in the so it's like it's super professional point.
Okay.
And I did all of that process, and I know when Helmut told me back then, it's like he's as soon as he's announcing, yeah, I need a new guitarist, he's get like 300 to 500 replies from all over the world because I mean Belphegor is quite
Yeah.
quite known. And so for me, it was like, okay, it, well, let's do it. I mean, we're living in the same country. Maybe I like the music. And so I did all of the stuff. Then I got invited for the rehearsals. And it was quite hard at the beginning because, like, yeah, he's a perfectionist, but in a, in a good way because it's professional what he does. And with time, at the beginning, it was like, oh my God, where did I get in here? But with time, I also like absorbed that kind of professionalism and spirit. And the beginning was hard. I loved each minute. I hated so many moments, but today we are brothers, and I can. It's just like uh, I would never like let's say this. It was one of the best experiences in my life to join forces with this guy. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, just to your point, to be a great band takes obsession. And, you have to be obsessed. You have to, you got to chase that perfectionism.
Yeah.
So it's totally understandable. So the band Belphegor has such a distinct identity after decades of creating great music. Um, when you step into a band with that much history, how do you find your own voice while respecting what came before?
For me personally, it was like at the beginning, you are like someone hires you. You have to follow the rules because it's like something that is solid already, and you get paid to do what this project wants you to do, right? But with time, then you melt a little more into the thing. It's like you get ideas, you can talk about it, you can bring up your own stuff a little more. So it's like a process, you know. At the beginning, it's just okay, like I go to work, you know, and I'm an employee and I have to function. But
Yeah.
with time, it gets more like yeah, a symbiotic kind of thing, I would say. But it took quite some time, but I'm glad it happened.
Awesome. So when you're approaching songwriting, um, do you write differently from when you write your own ideas for your own projects versus what you bring to Belphegor? Is there like a different process or a different mentality?
Yeah, it totally is because first of all, when we just talk musically wise, different tuning, different um, equipment, different. I mean, as I said before, Belphegor is like it's an institution already, and of course you have to find your way inside there because it's settled already. what was not my kind of setup that I used for my own for Molokh. So you have to grow into that more or less, but then also you get a lot of benefit from that because you learn new things. Before I never played in a, I mean I did play in a drop tuning, for example, but not so intense. And you learn new things, you learn new techniques because it's not the songs you wrote yourself. You have to study the songs. But for me, it's a benefit that I learned, and after I learned all of that stuff, I could also integrate myself a little into that. But it was a long process.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think in general, it's like I said before, you get like hired from a company, and you don't go to a huge company and try to change it or bring your own perspective into it. I think this can happen with time if it's possible at all. You know?
Yeah. So Belphegor's music and the technicality, it could be a little demanding in different ways. How long did it take before you felt completely at home performing it?
Good questions. Quite some time actually. As I said before, it was like at the beginning it was a totally like a casting process, and I was just like a session live guitar guy. But with time, it evolved. As I evolved, grew more into the music. So, what was the question again?
I was just asking, like, how long did it take for you to feel at home performing Belphegor's music?
It took quite long actually, but I loved all of that process, like thinking back, because as I said before, it was a learning process for me. And I think it was a few years for sure, like let's say until I really felt comfortable and not like afraid anymore or anything. I would say 5 years for sure.
Okay. And, just scrolling through your social media, I think it was 2021 when you were announced as like a full-time member of Belphegor. How did that feel? How did, you went from playing as just, as a live session guitar player to, getting the ultimate goal of joining the band?
Yeah. It was super complicated, and is still today, because like I have a normal job. I'm employed,
Yeah.
and like I was 12 years long. I was the CEO and the production manager in a huge venue in Vienna. So, but it was a full-time employment. So I had to be there, and I had always to consume my whole vacations for Belphegor. And Belphegor, during my time when I was there, it became more and more and more. It's like at the beginning it was like, okay, one tour a year, and then a few festival shows, a few club shows, and that's it. Now it's like 3 tours a year. Let's say 25 festival shows, and then in between a few club shows or whatever. And this is, back then I was okay. It was a decision, because Helmut told me like, okay, yeah, you can be a member if you want. I said, of course I want to, because I was grown into it already. But the thing is, like, back then I didn't want to quit my job, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was also like in a not so stable period, let's say, because yeah. So I had the choice, like, okay, do I spend really 100% into Belphegor, and you never know what's going on, this and that, it's not so stable. I do not want to be self-employed. I enjoy the comforts of employment, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I said yes, and then things happened, like job-wise and private also, that I said, okay, I cannot do it as much as I would like to do it, actually, as a full member.
Yeah.
So I said, Helmut, we have to make an agreement. And he said, yeah, okay, yeah. Good. We have until today we have an agreement. It's like I am a part of Belphegor, but I'm not with the pictures in the album or anything. I do not go to the studio with him. I mean, he's recording everything alone anyway. So we found an agreement with time that we both are happy with, I guess. But it took quite some time. So it was a really hard decision back then, because of course when you get the offer like, hey, you want to be a fixed member of, that's kind of of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like you also have to be with both feet on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not a teenager anymore. So yeah, this was more or less the story about it.
True. Okay. Well, Belphegor operates as an international level. Like you said, they have relentless touring and recording schedules and things like that. You kind of answered it a little bit, but what kind of physical and mental demands are placed on you as a musician?
Physical demands. I mean, Belphegor is extreme metal, and it's like you're on the stage for 45 minutes, or it depends. Let's say 40 to 50 minutes, and it's hardcore shredding all the time with like the thickest strings you can imagine, with the deepest tuning and all of that. I mean, it's physically extremely exhausting. But this 40 to 50 minutes on stage, this is the highlight, because you also have to calculate all of the practicing, rehearsing, driving from here to there. So physically completely demanding, and there was a few times where I thought I cannot do this anymore. But then when you go on stage and do this, then of course I will do this. It's like an up and down.
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you also asked, like, psychologically demanding?
Yes.
Not at all, because like I love it. This is like it's what I play with Belphegor. I feel it, so there's no psychological kind of problem with it. And I want this comes out from. This is the cool thing about Belphegor. It's not a fake. It's like everyone that is standing there on that stage with this band has to live that what comes to the audience. And I think people also realize that this is not a kindergarten, like poser or whatever. We live the way we play, more or less, seriously. That's why psychologically there's no demands at all. Just physically, of course, because it's a hard work.
Yeah. Is there a particular song in the set that gives you an adrenaline rush, or is there a specific song that really gets you going live?
The set list changes all of the time. It's like, I mean, of course, because you cannot play 35 years the same set.
Yeah.
So and to be honest, of course, there's a few songs where I say, okay, I enjoy playing them live more, because maybe I'm not so afraid of making mistakes with that song or something. But it totally, I cannot really give a direct answer, because sometimes, like, I play a song, and in the right moment, with the right audience, with the right mood, whatever, the song hits myself so hard, and the next day maybe I don't like it at all, because it's like the whole environment is not so nice. So I really couldn't say a specific song, honestly.
Okay. Do you have a moment that was the most unforgettable with Belphegor?
Many.
You want to share your favorite? What's your favorite, or at least one?
Moment where, like, on stage, or on a
let's
tour
say
bus
let's
or
say on
backstage?
stage. On
On
stage.
stage,
Yes.
there were many also. It's like I cannot point on out a specific one again because I mean, you know, it's like you are on a rush and you're so focused, and you play on different stages every day, and you're with a different audience. You're with different. Sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're not, and sometimes out of nothing, where you do not expect it, the the hormones kick in, and you feel, oh my god, what the fuck is this? I could tell many situations that I had, but I also cannot point on out a specific one. Like
Okay.
I I I just love it, and yeah, maybe later I can tell you one if I think of it. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So with a band like Belphegor, you mentioned that you went to college, so you learned some music theory. You said you were into Paul Gilbert, so he's he's a technician. So how do you balance, precision as a professional musician with the raw aggression of Belphegor?
I do not divide. I do not say okay. For me, it's like I a friend of mine. He like studied. He got his master degree on the conservatorium. He's like guitarist, and when I watch him play, it's like okay, yeah, you know all of the theory, and you can maybe you know this and that and blah blah blah. But when I watch him play, it's like you will never make it into Belphegor. You know, for example, now. Um, I learned so much about not theory but techniques, and also about life when touring and playing guitar. That is much more valuable for me than knowing about music theory. To be honest, I mean, of course, it's always good when you know that kind of stuff, but I never really had to use it seriously.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
I mean, maybe sometimes for improvising some solos with pentatonics and like easy kind of, you know. But for a professional kind of thing, I learned more uh, experienced techniques and all of that. I value more than the music theory I learned in school. Seriously.
Okay. All right. Well, touring is often romanticized, but the reality is much different on the road.
You know it by yourself, or
Well, I just took a trip to Canada with my band, so
Mhm.
we saw what a bit of the grind was and not sleeping and things like that. But what's something that fans rarely see behind the scenes when you're touring and you're on the road and you're doing these long stretches with Belphegor?
the thing is, like, I mean, as a band, you are um, what you do is you producing something that people should enjoy. It means you are kind of a you have to work, and we are talking about the what's it called in English, the event industry, right? What we are doing is to bring joy to people, to entertain them. Let's say with entertainment, right?
Okay.
Um, and people that are watching a concert or coming to your shows, they do not have and do not need to know how much effort you have to put inside of that, because they want to enjoy the product. It's like you also do not go to the supermarket and question, well, oh, this meat is coming from where, and you want to eat it, you know. And I
Yeah.
want, when I go to a show, I want to enjoy it. It happened a few times that I was so exhausted that I was almost rude to fans. Where um, seeing it afterwards, I really hated myself for that, because they do not have to know if you just slept 2 hours and had to travel for 4 weeks already. This is not their concern. They are consumers, and they like you, and this is the way it should stay, you know. And as I said, I mean, it's hardcore touring, especially in South America, for example, when you're not going with a tour bus, you have to fly each day. You have 2 hours to sleep in the hotel, then 4 hours driving to the airport, then 2.5 hours flight, then you go 3 hours to the next hotel, then 2 hours to the venue, then you have the soundtrack, then you try to go back to the hotel to get only 2 hours of sleep again. And when this accumulates, you can get a little like grumpy or something.
Yeah.
And actually, this is something that a fan or the audience that's buying your merch, that's paying the tickets to see you, that's buying your records, should not be blamed for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and it doesn't leave a lot of time for partying. Everyone thinks that, tour is a party. And if you're professional, you need as much sleep as you can get.
exactly.
If you want to deliver, so that's the point. I'm a vocalist and a bassist in my band, and like I can't party because like it's hard on the voice, and I try not to talk as much as possible.
I just want to say, it's just like party without talking. I mean, just drink all of the time.
Yeah, but so let's direct things back to Belphegor. With these new singles out, you have a few singles that you dropped, which were Scarlet Beast and Sanctus Diaboli. Is there a new album that you guys are working on, or are we expecting anything in the future, or you can't really talk about that?
I cannot talk in detail about it, but you can always expect something from Belphegor.
Awesome. I'm sure that's what everyone wants to hear. Are there any musical directions that you personally want to explore, maybe outside of Belphegor? Is there anything you're working on that you want to tell fans about?
Nah, it's a little hard at the moment because the thing is, I was off from Belphegor for quite some time now because I got a shoulder operation.
Okay.
So I was completely unable for more than half a year to do anything. I'm still a little in the recovery process. And this was also like, planned. So that's why I'm not so active again at the moment. I don't know if you realized, but our brother died, Bart.
Okay. Yeah. I heard about that.
Sorry?
I said I did hear about that on social media.
And we are kind of, me, Helmut, and him, it was like, I don't know what to say, but it's like at the moment it's a little hard. Everything is like still in a shocked kind of sad kind of way. I don't know.
Yeah, my condolences on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was planning to do a project with this motherfucker. But that died. he was actually the one who told me like, come on, I gonna sing and play bass for your Molokh project. And we just postponed it the whole time. And yeah, now it's not gonna happen. But this was actually something that I was planning on, like to do the Molokh stuff with Bart. But yeah, unluckily it's not gonna happen. So I don't know. No, nothing planned at the moment. Still like processing all of that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, my condolences on that, and is there a message you want to leave with the listeners? Anything about perseverance as a musician, or anything you want to say before we end out on this interview?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me for that conversation. Really enjoyed it. And to leave a message, just do whatever the fuck you want and don't be true to yourself. Really, it's like I mean, I guess this goes out to a specific kind of audience, like
Yeah.
heavy metal audience, and yeah, just go for it. I mean, yeah, maybe don't become a professional musician because it's really.
Listen,
If
you have to be crazy. You have to be
you have to be
crazy
crazy.
to be a
Exactly.
professional musician.
No, but if you have the opportunity to do that, I think most of the people that are really doing it in a professional kind of way also got the intention for it, because otherwise, yeah. And if you do it, good luck. It's worth it, but I don't know.
It leaves you with a life story. You have endless
Absolutely,
stories.
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is thanks for saying that. This is something that um, doesn't matter if it's Belphegor or my other projects before. I will never forget and never regret any kind of. It's like if someone tells me, "Oh, you died tomorrow," then okay, yeah, wow, okay, good, because I did all of it. you know,
Exactly.
that's
Yes.
that's that's something I'm also really proud of, and so that's why I said before, just do your don't let yourself be diminished or like by anyone. If you enjoy something, do it in a legal kind of way.
All right, Martin. Thank you for taking the time to speak to the Stygian archive.
I thank you.
All right. All right.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks.